Good afternoon, everyone. I am here again making this second video because on my first video, I didn't state or didn't say and add some things that were very important to this case in my wrongful conviction and support that I am innocent of everything that they accused me of or the things that I was convicted of. This is the first video that if you can see it, this is a page that I made here, and I am distributing this flyers throughout the city of New York just to show everyone the crimes that were perpetrated against me by the county of Queens District Attorney's Office. I'm going to call this video, this second video, I was wrongfully convicted by the Queens County DA's office, part 2. Now, I'm going to read from this piece of paper that I put together here to try to stay focused and not lose sight of what I'm trying to tell you here. And why am I doing this? Why am I doing this second video? Because there must be accountability. Because what prosecutors Deborah Nathan and Kenneth Applebaum did against me to get a conviction was not inadvertently done. This was intentional. The injustice in this case is something that I never heard before. One thing is withholding favorable evidence, which we have heard in the past in many cases. And another is planting fabricated evidence in a criminal case, especially coming from a prosecutor, which is even worse. Prosecutors always blame the police or someone else, but they never want to take responsibility for what they do. Likewise, they may say that the book I claim they planted in my van is not the book that they brought to trial, and thus it is not the book that I have now. But the facts identifying the planted evidence or the book as presented to the court and to the newspapers by prosecutor Deborah Nathan only leads to the 1994 book titled Perfect Cover by Linda Chase and Jace St. George. You can actually find the name of the book, all the details about the book on this video. If you look on this video and type this title, when you go to YouTube, you're going to see the details that I gave about the book and how they planted the book and many other things that actually transpired in my wrongful conviction. Now, the one thing about books that I learned later going through this case and doing my research is that any book that is published for the purpose of sales in the United States must have an ISBN number. And the Library of Congress requires by law that a copy of the books published in the United States, one copy is given to them. Additionally, copyright laws prohibit the use of any identifying items or the characters from any book to be used from any book without the permission of the author. Therefore, the prosecutors who perpetrated these criminal acts against me to get a conviction cannot deny that this is the book. And I'm going to show you the book. There's 2 different covers of the book. See, this is the book. Perfect cover, you see. And this is an edition that was actually published in the United States. Now, they have another cover, the same exact book, the same story, but this one was published in the UK on the same year, 1994. On my first video, I didn't show the books. I only show a copy or a photostatic copy that I made from the books, right? Now, also, many will ask, why didn't I buy the book before? But like I explained on my first video, which you can find on YouTube under I was wrongfully convicted by the Queens County DA's office. I already explained that to you. Based on the very detailed information about the book ADA Deborah Nathan presented to the court and everyone else, I thought that she was telling the truth. My defense attorney even said at one point that the book was 250 pages long. Once he said that, I was under the impression that he himself has seen the book and agreed that what the prosecutor said about the book was in fact the truth. Therefore, the only thing that I have left, I thought anyway, was to get the book which was in the possession of the prosecutor and get fingerprints to prove that it wasn't mine. However, the court never answered my request to obtain the copy of this book. Bear in mind, like I said in my first video, these Queens prosecutors want to keep a list of corrupt prosecutors who are the subject of complaints from the public view. But the federal court said no. Again, ADA Kenneth Applebaum went to my home with this book in hand, ready to plant fabricated evidence in my van. Even before I was put on the lineup, clearly he acted in bad faith from the beginning of this case. That's intentional misconduct, if you ask me. I bet any money that he told the complainants to pick me on the lineup because he himself admitted that he wanted to conduct lineups. What is worse is that ADA Kenneth Applebaum conspired with ADA Deborah Nathan to lie to the court and everyone else about the true contents of the book. That's when he decided to, as her supervisor, assign the prosecution to her while he took the stand to give them a chance to bring the book out and use it against me. But the court denied the request because I chose not to testify. Therefore, they couldn't use the book against me at the moment. But it was already too late. ADA Deborah Nathan leaked the information about the book to the main New York City newspapers on the eve of my trial. Again, how come the prosecutors in my case did not use the NYPD Sergeant Rafael Garcia, who testified about the book? To testify about the book. That's what I meant to say. They didn't use him to testify about the book when he was the one who vouched or signed the receipt for the book before, when it was found on the same day ADA Applebaum went to view my van. This book was already collected by Rafael Garcia. I know that Queens DA Melinda Katz inherited a long tradition of corruption when she became the Queens County top prosecutor. However, she has not done anything to bring justice to many like me by holding these corrupt prosecutors accountable for what they have done to innocent people like myself who has spent 20 years or better in prison. There is no transparency from these prosecutors. The fact that ADA Kenneth Applebaum planted fabricated evidence in my van and conspired with ADA Deborah Nathan to lie about it in court is the worst case of prosecutorial misconduct in New York City, I believe. Had the jury known this, the outcome of my case would have been a different one. I just want to add that I have been very vocal about what these people have done to me, including distributing flyers. I have distributed flyers, right, in the city of this. This is the thing that I distributed in the city, here in Queens and in Manhattan, including going around public places where Applebaum lives, which is protected under the First Amendment under the Constitution of the United States. I have posted this. I have posted this This same piece of paper I have posted on land posts and will go to the front of the Queens County Court House to further distribute these homemade flyers. These, I want to now put this out in public or distribute these because I have some writing here that would actually lead people to go into the first video. All right. And now, ADA Kenneth Applebaum, to add something else here, this is the fear that they have, or that he has, because he doesn't want nobody to know that this is what he's doing or this is what he has done. ADA Kenneth Applebaum, he sent his goon squad to intimidate me to my home on November 24th, 2025, to keep me from speaking about this, what he has done. Okay? In my case, right? In violation of my rights to free speech. Now, if anything happens to me, my family knows where it came from. Because out of desperation, Applebaum and those involved in this case or in this prosecution had someone named Veronica Joseph follow me to accuse me of other crimes before trial. This is what they do. And this is what they have done in this case. They have fabricated evidence. They have planted evidence. They have lied in court. They have put other people to lie in court. But I know the people that they use in court to lie about what they said or about their testimony, they will not actually say anything. Most likely, if I bring them to court, they're going to say that they do not remember the case or anything about the case in order to what? Deny responsibility. Now, I can only pray that I have Queens County Judge Joseph Sayas preside over my case or the motion to vacate judgment in my case, since the trial judge in my case, the trial judge that I had in my case demonstrated that he had a prejudice against me when he ordered the doctor who saw the complaint not to read from the medical records while he was testifying. Why? Because the medical records show that nothing happened to the so-called complainant or victim. And this is why I'd rather have Judge Joseph Sayas preside over my case, because he had presided over other cases where he has been more or less biased to the people. Now, see, my attorney, he said that the book had 250 pages. You see, this is the page of the trial minutes where my attorney said that, or admitted that the book had 250 pages. One thing that I learned about these books, the books that I have here, see, I have this one, like I showed you already, and I have this one, is that this book here, the writing is less because of the way that it was printed. So this book here has 272 pages, almost 250. And I believe this is the cover that they use in my case, because if you notice here, this is a picture of the front of my van, and they show here the book. You see it right here. The book was white, and this pages or these pictures here, or the photostatic copies that I'm showing you here right now, I actually show on my first video. And you see, this is another page of the front of my van. You can see the steering wheel there, and you can see the book right here. So that's what I'm trying to say about the book being planted in my van. This is the DA was actually pointing that out. And if you watch my video, please, my first video, go and look at my first video, and you will see that on that video, I show every single detail. It's a long video, but at the same time, listen, you're not going to waste your time. It's worthy, because many people can actually be helped or use this information to help themselves. This is what the DA said. I'm just going to show you this one page about what the DA said about the book and what I was doing, what they claiming I was doing or alleged I was doing. I'm going to put this here so that you can actually screenshot it, or you can probably do anything you want to do in order to read it line by line and see, because this is when the DA was actually bringing this to the attention of the court. Specifically, she was bringing this to the attention of parole officers, hoping that on my parole hearings, my parole officer would actually see this, because they look at the trial minutes, sentencing minutes. This is from the sentencing minutes, and they look at the sentencing minutes and they consider whatever the prosecutor says on the sentencing minutes. And the prosecutor says that the book is about a police officer in Queens County who drives around, who picks his victims off the streets, who abducts them at gunpoint or takes them at gunpoint and then subsequently rapes them. And is her position, this is what she's saying, my position, her position, this is exactly what this defendant was doing. And the fact that he denies his guilt is, she thinks, or she thought anyway, was ludicrous. This book here, this other book here, I bought this book from one from Amazon and one from eBay. This one I got from eBay. It's the same book, the same authors. It's different because it was published in the United States or from another company. This is another publishing company. This is a different one. This is not the same publishing company that published this book here. But this is the book that they use, this white cover book. The book is not about what the prosecutor wanted everyone to believe. And my point in this case is that they lied about the entire thing. Once a prosecutor goes to anybody's house, let's say to collect evidence or view whatever evidence they may find, or whatever things they may collect, or things that they may use for the complainants or the victims or the person reporting the crime, they can actually use certain things to bring it into court for trial and have them identify those items and say whether they saw it at the scene of the crime, whether they saw other things, or they might have seen something else, or whatever the case may be. That's something that they do. But at the same time, when the DA went to my house on that day to plant this book, when he went, Applebaum went on January 9th of 1998, and he went to view my van, he had the book in hand. Like I said, he had this book already in hand, because on that same day, they took pictures, the pictures that I showed you. They took pictures of the book as it appears on those pictures that I already showed you of the book, like over here. This is what they did. They planted this book, or fabricated the evidence of this book in my van to later use it against me, because they didn't have any evidence. He knew it from the beginning, Applebaum. According to case law, according to cases that have been presented in court, when a prosecutor plants evidence or they fabricate evidence from the get-go or from the beginning of a case, that proves that there was no probable cause to arrest, because the only way he can actually find evidence to arrest me is from this book, because now he was willing to influence the complainants to lie on a lineup and pick me on that same lineup. And this is why he used this book here, because he knew he was going to use the book later at trial. This book was actually leaked, or the information about this book was leaked to the press the day before my trial. and I have the articles and everything is actually explained in detail on my first video. And like I said before, please, I encourage you to go and look at the video. The video is titled, I was wrongfully convicted by the Queens County DA's office. That's video number 1. And this is video number 2. All I wanted to bring in this video was just these books here, which I didn't show on the first video, because I wanted to see it. I want the prosecutor and everyone to see that I'm making these videos to actually expose them. I want to expose them. I want to expose the crimes and the crimes that they perpetrated against me. And at the same time, this is something that they normally do. Whenever they arrest somebody, they run to the newspapers and they publish information and they lie and they say whatever they want to say because they want the newspapers to actually show that the person that they actually arrested is guilty. And they just write whatever the prosecutor says, they will write on those newspapers because this is what they pay for. Now, I'm saying this today and I'm going around the city, especially the Queens County Courthouse. I'm going to go there soon to distribute these flyers. This is a homemade flyer that I made myself and I make copies myself. It doesn't have to be professionally done because the content of the video itself is self-explanatory, and it actually explains how they wrongfully prosecuted me. And now that I have the evidence, I'm not letting go of this because I always maintain my innocence. And now that I have this evidence here, like I said, I'm not letting go until they have someone to look at my case. And I would love to see DA Melinda Katz review this case as soon as possible because the evidence is already here. This is the evidence. This is all they can use. This is all that my attorneys can use in my favor. The Legal Aid Society, they have my case, and now they can actually examine the evidence that I'm showing them, and they can file the motion to vacate this conviction and get this thing off my back. I want to get my life back. I want my name to be off from any criminal records. And I want to sue these people because this is what I intend to do. And they know it. They know that I'm going to sue them because this is really a horrible case because you have prosecutors. It's not like they are lying about something and later they say, well, we didn't know and it was here. No, they are actually planting evidence and fabricating evidence, lying to the court, misleading the court about the story in this book when they know they lied about the story in the book in order to secure a conviction. And this is not something that we should be having in the USA, but we do. Many prosecutors, many people have done this in the past, and they even go and intimidate the defendants or their lawyers in order to cover up whatever conspiracy, whatever corruption, whatever misconduct they have done against people. And I thank you, and I hope I don't have to make another video. And I pray that to God, because God has been the one that has actually helped me throughout all this time. It's been 27 years since I was convicted, and I came home in the year 2000, and I've been home, not on parole. I've been home, and thank God that I found this evidence in order to unmask these corrupt prosecutors. Thank you, and God bless you.